I'm working on a video where I flew a drone over land that used to be owned by a black doctor in the 1960s in St. Louis that was taken by the white residents around him that just couldn't stand the fact that there was black excellence in his neighborhood. Sidebar, I totally crashed the drone and destroyed it, and many of its propellers are gone, and it's totally fucked if you want to support me on Patreon. Reparations can often feel like an abstract thing. How could we ever calculate the value of something? It isn't that hard in this case. It's $1,160,700. That's the average price of a home in that area where Dr. Venable had his property stolen. It can often feel like history is so far in the past, but his children are still alive. I am still alive, and he is old enough to be my father. Dr. Venable's story is important for us to engage with, but it also speaks to the historical recency of the need for reparations. We can ask the question of, do we need reparations for slavery? The answer to that question is yes, and you can read about it here. I've just started, so you can read along with me, and you can join the Discord where we're talking about it. But we also need reparations for things that happened in the 1960s. That is much more recent and easier to calculate and easier to pin down who exactly those people were that were harmed and how we can help them. Or as Kimberly Jones writes on page 44, we need reparations for the school districts discrepancies, right? 2019 report found that in the United States, white school districts received 23 billion more annually. That's 23 billion every single year right frickin' now. Why do white school districts get 23 billion more per year? Because school district funding is tied to property taxes, which is tied to the property values. Why are the property values lower? Because for the entirety of American history, black people have been pushed out of high value residential areas by a lot of different mechanisms. Either by changing the laws in Dr. Venable's case and forcing him out, or by racial covenant clauses that prohibit the owners from selling their property to a family of color when it comes time to sell, or by larger scale, more pernicious, subtler systems that prevent black Americans from accessing credit in the first place. You can read more details about this in the chapter 400 Rounds of Monopoly from Kimberly Jones' book, How We Can Win. Monopoly, incidentally, a game that was designed to teach people how frustrating it can be when you are prevented from accessing capital. All this leading to the tragic state of play where black Americans have 10 cents to every dollar that white people have, where crises like 2008 wiped out half of black wealth. We don't just need reparations for things that happened hundreds of years ago. When COVID has a disproportionate effect on black Americans, we need them for what's happening now.